Hello, everybody. It's bitch time. All right, and in today's edition of Bitch Time, we're straying a little bit from the normal formula of top five places to kill yourself, top five people who should kill themselves. We want to move away from darker themes. Although life is dark, and it's important to face the darkness head on. Because I would argue that the people who run from the darkness are truly the most depraved and depressed. But you gotta have an escape from that. It can't all just be suicide. You gotta cheer people up sometimes. You gotta be happy, do fun, silly things, because that's what life's all about. Life's all about a full spectrum of emotions and topics. Okay, so for today's video, we will be doing a blind ranking of how big we believe celebrity chefs' penises to be. Now, I don't know exactly what blind rankings are. I've just been seeing they're popular on TikTok and shorts and reels. I guess this isn't a blind ranking because I know what's coming next. I have the list of names, but we'll just rank from smallest to biggest. Okay, so we got a list of 7 celebrity chefs' names. The first name I have written down, and the one that's just screaming to me is smallest penis, has to be Wolfgang Puck. I don't know what it is about. It's just the tiny Austrian. What is he? Is he Austrian? I don't know. Europeans probably have larger penises, however, than Americans. I wouldn't be surprised if all the horrific shit that's in our food that's not in their food, in addition to making us fat and misshapen. Because that's the one thing that people don't know. Like, you have fat people in Europe, but it looks natural. The fat you see here, it's like they've been injected with like melted Legos. It's fucking disgusting. But needless to say, let's see here. Wolfgang Puck. Yes, he is Austrian. It's an odd place for a celebrity chef to come from, at least from an American point of view, because of all the ethnic cuisines we have in America. Austrian isn't really represented. And it says his cooking style is California. So I don't know, I guess if you cook California style, that just screams small dick. That screams small dick energy, for whatever reason. That's the thing, though, is that I believe Wolfgang Puck has had some sort of sexual assault allegations against him. There's been some sort of Me Too-ness going on with Wolfgang Puck. I guess I'm not finding anything. When I look up Wolfgang Puck allegations, it just says tip skimming. Oh, there's a 22% auto gratuity added to the bills at his restaurants, and he was not sharing any of that additional revenue with servers or bartenders. Who gives a fuck? The man moved to America, and that's what you do when you come to America. You steal money. Everyone talks about, oh, what's the American dream? Is it creating a better life for yourself? Is it improving your social and financial situations? No, it's putting yourself in a position where you can enrich yourself by stealing from others. That's what the American dream is. And, although I support that, I have to agree that is a very small dick principle, To go out and want to steal money from people, that's what small dick people do to feel better about themselves. Because male porn stars, famously well endowed, get paid much less than the women. They're okay with it. You don't hear them complaining like fucking WNBA players. They're like, I make enough. I can keep a roof over my head. I can feed myself. And I got an 8-inch dick. It's the people who steal that have small penises. So that's why I think Wolfgang Puck has a small penis. Now, number 2, second smallest penis, I have to go Gordon Ramsay. I don't want to put him there because I like Gordon Ramsay and I don't want to make him out to be a small-dicked man. But I don't know, the excessive yelling, excessive machismo that he exudes just screams small dick. And he definitely has that sort of egomaniac drive to just get more and more. He wants to open more restaurants. I saw recently that he opened a restaurant in St. Louis. Why does Gordon Ramsay need to open a restaurant in St. Louis? He doesn't. There's one reason why Gordon Ramsay would open a restaurant in St. Louis, and that's to make more money. That's to increase his profile. And that's something that small dick people do. I'm willing to bet most billionaires have small penises. And I believe Gordon Ramsay is probably the closest person to being a billionaire on this list. Like, I remember I once saw an episode of, I don't think it was Kitchen Nightmares, but he had this one show that sort of replaced Kitchen Nightmares for a while. It was called, I think, Gordon Ramsay's 24 Hours to Hell and Back. It was basically Kitchen Nightmares, but just like a hyper version of that, where instead of spending a week there, he shows up presumably unannounced with a camera crew and then holds the entire staff of the restaurant hostage for a full 24 hours to renovate it and teach the chefs how to cook an entire new menu. But there was this one episode in that where he was just like challenging this like 60-year-old black man who's clearly like diabetic and out of shape. He was like challenging him to like a race, to some sort of athletic competition. He just kept running around. And then obviously this guy was way slower. This guy could barely fucking walk, let alone run. And then, yeah, and Gordon Ramsay's just like, oh, you got it, mate. You got it, mate. You've got it, mate. I got to channel the Gordon Ramsay. He's like, you can run fast, mate. But you've got to keep up. The one thing that I want you to take away from this is that you've got to keep trying. You might not be as fast as me, but you've got to keep putting that one leg in front of the other. And that's what you've got to do at this restaurant to turn it around. Do you understand me? Yeah, and that's just something a small dick guy does. He has been married to the same woman for a while, and I don't know, so I would imagine Gordon Ramsay is the case of the small dick but knows how to use it, so it's not as bad for his sexual partners. Next smallest, I gotta go Bobby Flay. I don't really know anything about Bobby Flay. I just know he was the guy that would show up to restaurants and then be like, I can make your dish better than you. I don't know, that's just douchey. Anthony Bourdain made fun of him all the time too, and I'm beholden to share the same opinions that Anthony Bourdain does, because I like most of Anthony Bourdain's fans, am a pseudo-intellectual dipshit who believes himself to be cultured and well-traveled, because while I have not traveled the world, I've watched Anthony Bourdain do so on television. I can be like, the favelas of Brazil aren't that bad. Anthony Bourdain went there. He didn't get murdered. You gotta stop hyper-focusing on on what we're shown in the media. It's not representative of real life. That's what Anthony Bourdain taught me. That's what Tony taught me. If you're a fan of Anthony Bourdain and you call him Tony, you deserve to be in the casket with him. All right, so we're falling back into our old ways of talking about suicide. So let's jump out of that. I don't know. Bobby Flay just seems like kind of a small dick guy. That's just a knee-jerk reaction. Again, I don't know. I guess fuck Bobby Flay. Next, we're getting into average territory. While the previously mentioned guys were 5 or below, hard, of course. Now we're getting into average territory. Now we're getting into, 6-inch territory, which is, enough to please a woman. Most women are going to be fine with that, and if they're not, I don't know, just have fun never finding anyone and having too high standards, okay? Have fun living your lonely life, you fucking size queen. So, average size penis, we would say Jamie Oliver. Jamie Oliver, he seems like a good bloke. Seems like a nice guy. Doesn't try to overcompensate for anything, but just doesn't have that effortless swagger of large penised men, of well-endowed men. He's British, so he's probably not circumcised, because I think they don't do that as much over there. That really has nothing to do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can stretch the foreskin out to give yourself a couple extra, maybe 1 extra inch. I don't know. I don't have a foreskin, spoiler alert. So I don't know if you can, if that makes it easier to manipulate the size. Possibly. So yeah, Jamie Oliver. Jamie Oliver is kind of middle of the road, like his food. I've watched some of his cooking stuff, and he's obviously got some chops, but he's not. I don't look at the shit he cooks and go, oh my god, the man's a scientist. It's just like, yeah, man knows how to make a good meal. I've made a couple of his recipes. They were okay. I do know who has the biggest. I'm trying to figure out who has the second and the third. All right, I'm going to go third largest penis of these celebrity chefs would be Marco Pierre White. I don't know what it is about him, just because he is like Gordon Ramsay. He does have that explosive temper, and he's not afraid to show it. But it doesn't seem nearly as performative as Gordon Ramsay's. It seems much more authentic. It seems like it comes from a true place of passion, whereas Gordon's, yes, comes from passion, but also from a desire to make entertaining television, which, of course, if you're doing something, do that while screaming. Probably more appealing to retards watching Fox, you know? I don't know. So yeah, and he seems like a guy that like kind of, I'm not too familiar with him, but he seems like a guy that kind of became famous by accident. He didn't like try to be famous. He didn't aspire to be a celebrity chef. He was just that good that the attention came to him. And he's also the mentor, I believe, of Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay learned under Marco Pierre White. That's the thing. Like when there's a mentor and a protege, and then the protege becomes more successful than the mentor, or at least more famous than the mentor, I should say. When the protege then becomes more famous than the mentor, the mentor who's now less famous, that's just, like I said, a lot of this is just what my gut feeling is. And my gut feeling is that sort of dynamic, the mentor who just sits back and is like, go on, my child, spread your wings. Show the world what I've taught you. That's some big dick shit right there. So Marco Pierre White, again, we're in the biggest dicks category. So I'd say Marco Pierre White's like rocking like a 6.5, 7. Whereas I'm glad, now that I said that, I'm glad I made that choice of putting him at 3, because the second biggest dick is Guy Fieri. You know that man's packing. Everyone knows it. I mean, he's just so cool, calm, and collected. He is like the Pete Davidson of chefs, I suppose. Has like zero fucking respect from the actual culinary community, from what I understand. Like real legit chefs hate Guy Fieri's fucking guts. They think he's a hack. He's not famous really for cooking. He's just famous for eating, but he's cool with it. He doesn't give a shit. I've never seen Guy Fieri try to clap back at the haters. He's like, I'm going to keep wearing my horrid shirts. I'm going to continue looking like some guy that stalks fucking Sammy Hagar's house in Cabo San Lucas. And that's just him. That's authentically him. And authentic people have the biggest penises. Guy Fieri is definitely rocking a 7.5. And then that leaves us with number 1. The celebrity chef with the largest penis is none other than Rachael Ray. I don't know. I just feel like I've seen pictures of Rachael Ray from about 15 years ago, and I've seen pictures of Rachael Ray from more recent. She's much bigger, you know? It looks like she's been on some HGH. It's not just like fat. It's not like she's just gotten fatter. It looks like look at a picture of Barry Bonds from his Pittsburgh Pirates days, and then look at a picture of Barry Bonds from like one of his last seasons in Major League Baseball. It's one of those where like, no, everything's just bigger. Everything's just wider. So I can't imagine that change didn't also affect Rachael Ray's penis, which is probably already pretty big, because of what I hear about Rachael Ray. Sweetheart on television, but when he's done doing his show backstage, Rachael Ray, he is just a fucking menace. That's the biggest dick thing that you could do, is just be two-faced. Two-faced people have massive cocks. So Rachael Ray, 8-inch cock, and that is the blind rankings, or I guess whatever the fuck this is, blind rankings of the celebrity chef penis sizes. Going again from smallest to biggest, we got Wolfgang Puck, Gordon Ramsay, Bobby Flay, Jamie Oliver, Marco Pierre White, Guy Fieri, Rachel Ray. So go use your big dick, Rachel Ray. Go fuck some bitches with that massive cock, Rachel. And tune in to Bitch Time.